Edward Furlong's life didn't turn out like the hero he played in the movies. He went from being a hot new star in Hollywood to someone people barely remember. He's had more trouble with the real police than the robot cops in the Terminator movies. How did this happen? How did someone so promising end up struggling? And can he make a comeback? We're going to take a deep dive into Edward Furlong's life and see what went wrong. The rise of a young star. Okay, first a funny thing. Did you know that in the movie The Faculty, Jon Stewart's character is named Edward Furlong? That's a weird coincidence, right? Anyway, back to our story. To really understand what happened to Edward Furlong, we have to start at the very beginning, when he was born in California in 1977. He never knew his real dad, and his mom had a lot of problems. So, he ended up living with his aunt and uncle. But even that wasn't easy. They had a huge fight with his mom about who should take care of him. This all happened while he was filming Terminator 2. It's funny how life and movies can sometimes mix together. All that family drama he was going through in real life probably showed up a little bit in his acting in the movie. Are you the legal guardian of John Connor? This question, directed at Edward Furlong's character in Terminator 2, is a poignant reflection of his own life. While many actors struggle for years to get their big break, young Edward's story was different. He wasn't even trying to be an actor when fate intervened. In September 1990, while hanging out at the Pasadena Boys and Girls Club, a casting director for Terminator 2 spotted him. They saw something in him, the perfect embodiment of a rebellious teenager destined to save the world. However, the path to securing the role wasn't smooth. Initially, director James Cameron was hesitant to cast a non-professional like Edward. The role of John Connor was pivotal, and Cameron couldn't risk entrusting it to an inexperienced kid. He needed someone who could convincingly portray the future leader of the Resistance. Edward's natural grit and attitude perfectly aligned with the character, but his lack of experience presented challenges. He struggled to memorize his lines, hit his marks, and overcome his nervousness in front of the camera. He had the spirit of John Connor, but he lacked the technical skills to bring the character to life. On multiple occasions, it seemed like Edward would lose the role. However, through dedicated work with an acting coach, he managed to bridge the gap between his raw talent and the demands of professional acting. He learned to balance his natural bad boy persona with the newly acquired skills of a trained performer. The film did encounter some minor issues with Edward's voice changing throughout the shoot, but this was simply a result of him going through puberty during filming, an unavoidable aspect of adolescence. Despite this, his performance was remarkable, especially for a newcomer. He delivered a flawless portrayal of John Connor in a film that has since become a timeless classic. Terminator 2, Judgment Day, or T2 as it's affectionately known by fans, was a massive success, raking in a staggering $521 million at the box office worldwide. It's widely regarded as not only one of the greatest action movies ever made, but also one of the most exceptional sequels and films in cinematic history. And those acting classes Edward Furlong took clearly paid off. His performance in the film was so impressive that he won the Saturn Award for Best Performance by a Younger Actor and the MTV Movie Award for Best Breakthrough Performance. The peaks of fame. A few years later, in 1996, Edward and the rest of the main cast returned to their iconic roles for the Universal Studios attraction, T2 3D, Battle Across Time. This theme park ride show, which blended 3D filmed sequences with live actors, is still considered one of the best attractions Universal Studios ever created. It even had a 4D element, with the T-1000 exploding and squirting water at the audience. Sadly, like many beloved rides at Universal Studios, this one has closed its doors for good. But it's amusing to think that, for many, the third best Terminator movie is actually a theme park ride. Apparently, one of these attractions still exists in Japan. if you're ever in the neighborhood. Speaking of Japan, young Edward even made his way there to appear in a commercial for some delicious-looking instant noodles. It's a bit of a quirky footnote in his career, but hey, everyone's gotta eat. Edward then starred in Pet Sematary 2, a sequel to the popular horror film. While the movie itself might not have answered any burning questions from the first film, like how to spell cemetery, it did manage to make a decent profit, doubling its $8 million budget. Edward's performance was solid, but he needed something more substantial to really propel his career forward. Over the next few years, Edward Furlong continued to act in various films, seeking that breakout role that would solidify his place in Hollywood. A career on the edge. Edward Furlong's acting career continued to flourish in the mid-1990s. He made appearances in music videos, including Aerosmith's "Livin' on the Edge," and built an impressive resume working with some of the biggest names in the industry. He starred alongside Kathy Bates in A Home of Our Own, a performance that earned him a Young Artist Award. He also shared the screen with Frank Langella in the sci-fi slasher Brain Scan. Furlong's talent shone through in his collaborations with acclaimed actors like Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon, and Sissy Spacek in The Grass Harp, and he proved his ability to hold his own against acting powerhouses like Meryl Streep and Liam Neeson in the crime drama Before and After. His performance in American Heart even earned him an Independent Spirit Award nomination, solidifying his reputation as a rising star. Furlong's appeal extended beyond the big screen. He embraced the teen heartthrob image, gracing the covers of numerous magazines. He even ventured into a short-lived music career, releasing an album titled Hold On Tight, which, although not critically acclaimed, showcased his willingness to explore different artistic avenues. The year 1998 marked a turning point in Furlong's career. He kicked off the year by appearing in the comedy film Pecker, directed by the renowned John Waters. Furlong later explained that he took on this role because he felt his filmography was becoming filled with bleak and depressed characters, and he wanted to branch out into a different style. John Waters provided him with the opportunity to showcase his versatility and comedic timing. Following Pecker, Furlong starred in one of the most controversial films ever made, not only due to its subject matter, but also because of the behind-the-scenes drama surrounding its production. He played a young man who falls under the influence of his neo-Nazi brother, portrayed by Edward Norton. The film garnered praise for its powerful message about the possibility of redemption and its shocking ending involving Furlong's character. Although the movie wasn't a box office hit at the time, it has since gained cult classic status and is considered one of the most intense and thought-provoking films ever made. Furlong's performance earned him a nomination for a Young Artist Award for Best Supporting Actor, further solidifying his acting prowess. However, as Furlong's career reached new heights, his personal life began to unravel and attract media attention. His relationship with Jacqueline Domack, who had been his girlfriend since 1992, became a source of controversy. The couple had met on the set of Terminator 2 when Domack was 28 years old and Furlong was just 15. This significant age difference raised concerns about potential grooming and exploitation, straining Furlong's relationship with his aunt and uncle, who disapproved of the relationship. In 1994, California amended its statutory rape law, allowing for the prosecution of adult women who engaged in sexual relationships with minors. This change prompted Furlong's uncle to file a complaint against Domack. However, despite the legal change, Domack was never prosecuted. Nevertheless, the situation escalated, leading to Furlong becoming an emancipated minor at the age of 15, granting him legal independence from his guardians. This tumultuous period in Furlong's life coincided with his rising fame, creating a complex and challenging situation for the young actor. The pressures of Hollywood, coupled with the complexities of his personal life, would ultimately contribute to the difficulties he faced in the years to come. Let's take a moment to acknowledge something quite disturbing. The way that Hollywood news and entertainment shows back in the day covered Edward Furlong's relationship with a 29-year-old woman when he was just 15. It's really creepy and unsettling, and it highlights some of the darker aspects of the entertainment industry. In 1999, after navigating the complexities of his personal life and legal emancipation, Edward Furlong took on the lead role in the rock and roll comedy Detroit Rock City. He played a teenager desperate to see his favorite band, Kiss. While the film wasn't a financial success and received mixed reviews from critics at the time, it has since gained a devoted following as a cult classic, celebrated for its humor and memorable cast. The following year, Furlong showcased his dramatic range in the Steve Buscemi-directed prison drama Animal Factory. Despite not being a major box office hit, the film earned critical acclaim, with many praising the powerful performances of its cast, including Furlong's. In this film, you could truly see the depth of his acting abilities. His portrayal of a troubled young man was raw and emotionally charged, leaving audiences wondering whether they were witnessing his real-life struggles bleed into his performance, or simply witnessing the brilliance of a gifted actor. Sadly, by this point, Edward Furlong's personal demons were beginning to overshadow his acting career. His struggles with drug addiction became more prominent in the media than his film roles. He openly admitted to being a heavy heroin and cocaine user during this period, a battle that led him to his first stint in rehab in October 2000. This addiction was a formidable foe, one that he grappled with for years, and it almost cost him his life. The long road of legal troubles. Despite his battles with addiction, Edward Furlong's acting career continued. Though often in a diminished capacity, he appeared in numerous limited-release and direct-to-DVD films, such as The Knights of the Quest, Three Blind Mice, Intermedio, Cruel World, and Venice Underground. He also made an appearance in Metallica's music video for The Unnamed Feeling, and starred in one of the Crow movie franchise installments, Wicked Prayer, in 2005. In 2006, a glimmer of hope emerged for Furlong when he signed on to reprise his iconic role as John Connor in the highly anticipated sequel, Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. This seemed like the perfect opportunity for a triumphant comeback. However, fate dealt him a cruel blow. Upon discovering the extent of his drug addiction, the producers removed him from the project, shattering his chance at a career resurgence. The role of John Connor was then given to actor Nick Stahl, who ironically was also grappling with his own substance abuse issues. Despite this setback, 2006 wasn't entirely devoid of positive developments for Furlong. He secured a recurring role in the popular TV series CSI NY, appearing in 5 episodes between 2006 and 2010. He also starred in the independent film Jimmy and Judy, where he met actress Rachel Bella. The two fell in love, got married, and had a child together. Unfortunately, a few years later, Bella filed for divorce and a restraining order against Furlong, citing drug-fueled domestic violence. Furlong's personal struggles with addiction and legal issues continued to overshadow his professional endeavors. He continued to work, but primarily in low-budget films such as The Visitation, High Hopes, Canes, Warriors of Terra, Living and Dying, Dark Real, This Is Not a Movie, The Green Hornet, Below Zero, Stitch, and a 2-part film called The Devil's in the Details and Matt's Chance. He also appeared in the remake of the horror film Night of the Demons. Throughout this period, Furlong's talent remained evident, even in smaller roles. However, his personal struggles and the resulting negative publicity made it difficult for him to secure major roles and regain the momentum he had early in his career. In 2009, Edward Furlong's life took another turn when he met Monica Keena, with whom he began a relationship. However, his struggles with addiction cast a dark shadow over their connection. In 2012, he was arrested and charged with felony domestic violence against Keena. This was just the beginning of a series of legal troubles. A year later, he faced another arrest for the same charge. And just 2 months after that, he was arrested yet again for violating a restraining order against his estranged wife, Rachel Bella. The news of his arrests and legal battles overshadowed his acting career. While he continued to work in low-budget films, his personal struggles dominated headlines, making it challenging for him to regain his footing in Hollywood. In March 2013, he was sentenced to 180 days in prison for violating the restraining order. Even after his release, he found himself in trouble again, arrested for assaulting his then-girlfriend. However, at his sentencing for this assault, the judge offered a glimmer of hope. Recognizing Furlong's ongoing struggle with addiction, the judge opted for a more lenient sentence, including 5 years of probation, a 90-day drug rehab program, and a year of domestic violence counseling. It seems that this intervention finally had a lasting impact on Edward Furlong. Since 2013, he has managed to stay out of trouble with the law, maintaining a clean arrest record. This positive turn of events suggests that he may have finally overcome his demons and is on the path to rebuilding his life and career. In 2009, the Terminator franchise released another installment, Terminator Salvation. But once again, Edward Furlong was not involved. This time, the iconic role of John Connor was given to Christian Bale. The film received mixed reviews, and many fans lamented the absence of Furlong, who had become synonymous with the character. Then came Terminator Genesis in 2015, which attempted to reboot the franchise with a new timeline and a digitally recreated young John Connor, but it failed to capture the magic of the original films. The absence of Furlong in these sequels further highlighted the challenges he faced in reclaiming his place in Hollywood. In 2015, the Terminator franchise dealt another blow to Edward Furlong's hopes of a comeback. In Terminator Genesis, Jason Clarke took on the role of John Connor, but with a twist. He was now a cyborg. This creative decision, met with mixed reactions from fans, further distanced Furlong from the franchise that had launched his career. With the Terminator series seemingly closed off to him, Furlong continued to work primarily in low-budget, direct-to-video films. His filmography during this period included titles like Awakened in 2013, not to be confused with the 2015 film of the same name, Aftermath, Stitch, A Winter Rose, Crave, Paranormal Abduction, and even a role in the TV show Perception. He also ventured into the realm of creature features with Arachnoquake, a typical earthquake spider movie, and starred in the crime thriller For the Love of Money. Furlong's filmography also boasts some more unique entries, like the Spanish-language film Tequila, the action-packed Absolute Killers, and Below Zero, a survival thriller. He even made an appearance in a Star Trek fan film called Renegades. In a surprising collaboration, he worked with Corey Feldman in The Zombie King, where he played the titular role. He also took on the lead in Matt's Chance, playing the character Matt, and appeared in another Uwe Boll film, Assault on Wall Street. One of his more meta roles was in a film called This Is Not a Movie, which, despite its title, is actually a movie. A Flicker of Redemption. In 2011, Furlong made a brief appearance in a mainstream Hollywood film, playing a meth dealer in Seth Rogen's The Green Hornet. This role, although minor, offered a glimpse of his potential to return to bigger-budget productions. Finally, in 2019, Furlong got the chance to revisit his iconic character of John Connor, albeit through facial motion capture technology, in Terminator: Dark Fate. The scene featuring his character takes place directly after the events of Terminator 2. However, in a controversial move that angered many fans, the filmmakers decided to kill off John Connor in the opening scene. This decision was met with widespread criticism, with many feeling it was a disrespectful and unnecessary end for such a beloved character. The decision to digitally recreate Edward Furlong's likeness for a brief and ultimately fatal cameo in Terminator: Dark Fate was met with widespread disappointment and criticism. Fans had long anticipated a proper return for the actor, only to be met with a poorly executed CGI rendition of his younger self, followed by a swift and unceremonious demise. Many felt this was a disrespectful and pointless treatment of a beloved character, tarnishing the legacy of both John Connor and Edward Furlong himself. The film's handling of the character and the actor behind it left a sour taste in the mouths of many. While Terminator Genesis had its flaws, it at least offered some entertainment value. Terminator: Dark Fate, on the other hand, seemed to lack both respect for the franchise and basic human decency in its treatment of John Connor. Despite the negative reception of his cameo, Edward Furlong appeared to maintain a positive outlook, considering his brief return to the franchise a blessing. This perspective is admirable, given the circumstances, and suggests a resilience and optimism that many fans find heartwarming. However, the release of Terminator: Dark Fate also reignited discussions about Furlong's past struggles with drug abuse and domestic violence. Articles across the internet questioned whether someone with such a history deserved another chance in Hollywood. This sparked a debate about redemption and second chances, with many expressing different opinions on the matter. While domestic abuse is never justifiable, it's important to acknowledge the possibility of rehabilitation and growth. People can change, learn from their mistakes, and make amends with those they have harmed. It's crucial to recognize the potential for individuals to turn their lives around and contribute positively to society. The message of American History X, a film in which Furlong himself starred, resonates in this context. The film emphasizes the possibility of redemption and the importance of breaking free from destructive cycles. It's a reminder that everyone, regardless of their past actions, has the capacity to change and do better. Edward Furlong's recent appearance on his American History X co-star Ethan Suplee's podcast suggests that he is genuinely remorseful for his past actions. He openly discussed a relapse in his sobriety, indicating a willingness to acknowledge his struggles and continue his journey towards recovery. Reflecting on a troubled journey. In a candid conversation on his American History X co-star Ethan Suplee's podcast, Edward Furlong opened up about his past struggles with addiction and his journey towards recovery. He revealed that in 2001, after 3 years of sobriety, he relapsed. He shared his fear of discovering who he was without drugs and alcohol, but also admitted that those years in the grip of addiction were incredibly frightening, and that he never wants to return to that life. His honesty and vulnerability resonated with fans, who expressed their support and encouragement for his continued sobriety. Despite the challenges he has faced, Furlong remains active in the public eye. He makes appearances at various comic conventions and interacts with fans through the celebrity platform Cameo. In a recent Cameo video, he humorously recounted one of his most bizarre arrests, involving drunkenly liberating lobsters from a supermarket tank and staging an impromptu race down an aisle. While Furlong's past struggles are well documented, a recent photograph of him hanging out with controversial figure Ron Jeremy at a party has added another layer of complexity to his public image. The photo went viral, generating mixed reactions and sparking further discussions about Furlong's personal choices and associations. Despite the ups and downs, there's still hope for Edward Furlong to make a significant comeback in Hollywood. The industry has a history of embracing redemption stories, and Furlong's talent and potential remain undeniable. With his continued sobriety and a willingness to confront his past, he might yet find a way to reclaim his place in the spotlight. It's natural to ponder the what-ifs in Edward Furlong's life. If he hadn't been discovered at the Boys and Girls Club, would he have lived a quieter, perhaps less tumultuous life? Would he have still encountered the same struggles with addiction and legal troubles? Could he have found success in another field within show business? These questions linger, creating a tapestry of alternate realities and parallel universes. However, one thing is certain. Edward Furlong played a crucial role in shaping the childhoods of countless moviegoers around the world. Through his portrayal of John Connor in Terminator 2, he opened our eyes to a thrilling sci-fi action-adventure, allowing us to experience the world through the eyes of a young hero. His performance, despite his young age and inexperience, was genuine and captivating, leaving a lasting impression on audiences of all ages. Interestingly, Edward himself has recently reflected on his role in Terminator 2 with a fresh perspective. After many years, he has been able to detach himself from the child on screen and appreciate the film as a masterpiece. He expressed pride and gratitude for being a part of such an iconic movie, a sentiment that resonates with fans who continue to cherish his performance. Ultimately, Edward Furlong's story is one of both triumph and tragedy. He experienced the highs of early fame and success, followed by the lows of addiction and personal struggles. However, he has shown resilience and a willingness to confront his past. His recent statements about his sobriety and his pride in his work suggest that he is on a path towards healing and self-discovery. Perhaps, instead of focusing on the what-ifs and dwelling on his past mistakes, we should celebrate Edward Furlong's achievements and acknowledge his ongoing journey. He has brought joy and inspiration to countless people through his performances, and his story serves as a reminder of the importance of compassion, second chances, and the power of the human spirit to overcome adversity. So let's continue to root for Edward Furlong as he navigates the complexities of life and career. Let's recognize his contributions to the world of cinema and celebrate his resilience in the face of challenges. And most importantly, let's remember that his story is far from over, and there's still plenty of time for him to write a new chapter filled with hope, healing, and continued success.